Hello, everybody out there on YouTube and those who are listening on WWFNoMercy.com. My name is Kia, and I wanted to talk about No Mercy here on the channel. So I guess this is kind of a podcast, I guess. Episode 1, I guess. Um, so I wanted to get into what I'm about here on the channel. Um, 2023 projects. So first, I'll get into a little bit about me, about wrestling and video gaming. Um, when I was a kid, I didn't really watch much wrestling. I watched it here and there. I had friends who uh, obviously liked it. I didn't start watching until the summer of 2006 on a regular basis when I started watching Raw. DX just came back. Shawn Michaels and Triple H reunited to face the Spirit Squad and Vince and Shane McMahon. John Cena was challenging Edge and Rob Van Dam for the WWE Championship. Um, so that was 2006. Um, a little bit before that, the first wrestling game I was introduced was Here Comes the Pain. But when I was a little kid, I had a PlayStation 1. I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I had a few friends who had a Nintendo 64, and anytime we played anything on there, it was GoldenEye 007 or Legends of Zelda or Green of Time or Majora's Mask. Um, when I played on PS1 was not the SmackDown series. I played Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. Um, when I was a little older, I got onto the wrestling games on PS2, but I played Ratchet and Clank and Grand Theft Auto Vice City and San Andreas a lot. Um, there was my one friend brought over Here Comes the Pain. We played that a little bit. We played a lot. The one thing that kind of got me into wrestling gaming is the create a wrestler modes from Here Comes the Pain. And a couple years later, once I started watching wrestling in 2006, my one friend who had SmackDown versus Raw 2006, and we played the heck out of that. Actually, my friend's disc got so scratched, and I don't know if it was the PlayStation that did it or if we did it, but it stopped working. We eventually tracked down another copy of SmackDown versus Raw 2006, and then that worked for a limited amount of time. Um, but that was just great playing that on PlayStation 2. And so No Mercy kind of eluded me over the years. People have told me about it, and I just really never gave it a chance. I didn't own my first 64 until I was like 15. But then again, I just played GoldenEye and Zelda. So eventually, I got into more wrestling games. Obviously, I played 2007. Um, I wanted to talk a bit about my eFed history a little bit. Um, some people did eFeds over the internet, um, like over forums, over different websites. Um, I got into my first eFed kind of differently. Um, 15 years ago on YouTube. Um, Damien Demento was ranting. on YouTube about the Raw 15th anniversary, and there were many of us who were watching his shows. He used to do his videos here on YouTube, his little rants and stuff, and then he started doing uh, uh, videos on old websites called Stickham, or whatever you call it, and Blog TV. Um, and those were pretty funny back in the day. And there were some of us who watched his show, and it was quite funny. Um, some of these people who I've joined an eFed with, who were all of the same people who watched Damien Demento's live streams. A Demented Son, Triple H Game 99, Doczilla, and a Demented Jim. There were many of us. And back then there was a guy named Tommy from the Bronx, and him and Damien Demento were having a little rivalry, I guess you could say, on YouTube. And I had this account on Stickham. I think it was Tommy versus Demento. And we ended up doing an eFed called the Dementia Wrestling Institute, which was based off of our little comedy and the Damien Demento kind of universe, I guess you would call it. The DFSG, um, the Demented Family Support Group, is what we called it. Damien Demento, he would always open new accounts and close them. He did this for like a year or two, something like that. Him and his friend Wiley, aka former ECW Tag Team Champion Chris Michaels, and I think he's Fabiolus now. I don't know. I think he's still wrestling as Fabiolus. Last time I heard. Anyway, I had a character named Tony Tiny who his voice uh, was supposed to sound like Damien Demento, but he was supposed to look like American fitness trainer from the infomercials, Tony Little. And I thought that, I don't know, I was like 16 or 17 when I came up with that character, and I thought it was funny. And I talk like this, and yeah, Damien Demento. I did that kind of voice, and it was quite fun. In the DWI, the DFSG, uh, we had our factions. We had Lethal Injection, which I ended up being a member of later when I created a character based on more of myself. And I had Tony Tiny as my other character, which other people have multiple characters, but it was all about fun and laughter and just having a good time every Wednesday night or every other Wednesday night whenever we did it. But it was always well worth it. And a couple years ago, I started taking over the DWI when we did a sort of reunion thing, and not everyone came back. Some people, kind of just retired from EFED, and that's fine. But there was a big group, a decent amount of people that still wanted to do this e-federation or in some form in the same universe. So I started doing that as the AWP, as the Archive Wrestling Promotion, as the archive of the DWI, and then we did the sequel federation, the DUI, and that was quite fun. That I worked on with my friend Doczilla before he passed away a couple years ago, and I'm quite proud of the work that we did. And I did that for a long time, but I kind of stopped playing games. Like I still used the 2K series, like 2K19 I used for DWI and AWP. And then 2K switched developers from Ukes to Visual Concepts. So uh, everyone knows how bad 2K20 was. I really got burnt out from that. I was trying to make it work, and sometimes the game would work, and then it wouldn't because it kept on crashing. And I just kind of really wanted to even just kind of give up on video games, but I kind of haven't played video games in a long time. Um, I've been kind of doing like, the computer versus computer. So this is kind of where No Mercy comes into it. Um, Being as I'm somewhat of a beginner and I haven't played much video games in the last couple of years, other than like The Sims, but playing a wrestling game physically, me picking up a controller and playing as player one or player two or whatever the heck it is versus the computer, I haven't done it in a long time. But No Mercy has always intrigued me. I've seen videos of it. I've seen some of the hacks that people do, some of the ROM hacks that people do, like Aki Evolution and some of these like AEW games and like these old WCW mods. And it's just crazy with some of the things that people do with textures and a bunch of Game Shark codes. Um, and so I started doing some research. I started getting a couple of copies of No Mercy. I got a couple of Game Sharks now, and I'm starting to do a little bit more projects. But now I'm starting to want to play No Mercy, which I'm probably gonna maybe try to do here. Maybe I'll do like a live stream of that or something here on the channel. Uh, but it's gonna be kind of neat. But I was quite burnt out from 2K20. Like, I really just kind of wanted to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give up on video games altogether and I'm going to go do something else. I wanted to edit, so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just pick up a camera and do this or that. But I'm glad I kind of went to No Mercy because I was bored before 2K22 came out, and 2K22 is not a bad game, but that's kind of why I'm focused on No Mercy. I bought 2K22. I like the new camera. I like that, they fixed a lot of the crashes and a lot of the bugs that were in it before. But I don't know if I'm going to buy 2K23 or pre order it. I'm sure I'll buy it somewhere down the line if it's on sale. But I know a lot of people who have already pre ordered it. And I just don't know if there's enough info for me to buy it because everyone's like, okay, well, Cody Rhodes is in the game and, it's going to have an updated roster. And everyone's talking about what is the match that's in there? War games, how they have war games in there. And the thing that I'm worried about is one, okay, war games is cool. I'm not going to complain about that. But where is special guest referee? People have been asking for them to put it back in there for years. They've had you play as special guest referee in the my career modes or whatever they're called, the season modes. You know what I mean? The showcases, whatever they are. Um, but they can't have it for exhibition. That used to be in the 2K series or the old THQ games, and special guest referee. They used to have the Inferno match, but like I don't even care about the Inferno match. You're like, yeah, people like it and everything, and yeah, it would be cool if they could have it in there, but I want special guest referee, and it hasn't been in there for years. Another big thing with me is the create modes. Um, I've been noticing that when you go into the create a wrestler, for example, when you go into create, you get these face templates. They haven't changed any of these preset templates in years. They used to do it all the time when Ukes used to make the games for the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3. They used to change them, and they haven't added in a lot of new things in the create modes. So for example, create a wrestler, they haven't added in new clothing except for WWE superstars to update, their current look or whatever. But they haven't added anything new in, like new basic t-shirts and stuff like that for the create a superstar parts. Um, and the same goes for create an arena. Um, the preset arenas have been the same since 2K17. In 2K22, they added in the Thunderdome, but it's just an arena with crowd. You couldn't even have the video crowd screens like they had in the other arenas, like the Raw and SmackDown and pay per views. Um, and then you get into the what is it, the My GM mode, how they have all of those um, preset um, venues you can get for once you pay to unlock like the higher tiered stuff. Um, and then some of those were in the my career mode for 2K20 as like what did they had the Hollywood wrestling one, which was like the obviously like a parody of championship wrestling from Hollywood. Because that's what I know from, or like the United Wrestling Network. And so they had different like venues like that, but a lot of them are the same, like the Hammerstein Ballroom and a lot of the outdoor venues and the arenas. They're just the same. I've been just wanting a bit of an update to some of the create modes. Um, they just kind of need to be refreshed. Things just need to be refreshed and more new things need to be added. Um, and same with Create a Championship, more belt selections, not just WWE championships. Um, like they don't even have to have actual other like copies, but they could have just generic new templates. Like you don't have to take away the old ones, but just keep adding. Like when you go into the create an entrance every year, they always add in new entrance animations and new victory animations. And I think and it looks like they brought back the double title um, entrance and victory animations um, for Roman Reigns and some of the trailers and videos that I've seen on YouTube. Now, I'm hoping maybe at some point I'll get into that 2K23, but right now I'm kind of just focused on getting WWF NoMercy.com up and running. I'm hoping to do some work on that. I'm looking to get more Game Shark codes online. I have them. I just have to get them from my phone, from the websites, some of these really old websites that are 20 years old. And I'm going to have to look them up on my computer. And then once I do that, I will start putting some of them on the website. I'm hoping to have more events as I just did the Royal Rumble. And in the near future, I'm hoping to start doing a little bit more deeper editing with some of that. with some of my future pay-per-view events, I would like to eventually start doing uh, Monday Night Raw, maybe at least every week or every other week, depending on how much time I have to work on it. Um, Maybe SmackDown in time, and definitely pay-per-views every couple of months. It would be really neat. I'm in communications with No Mercy Federation. Sometimes we share game share codes. If anyone knows of any game share codes that they think I should have or that I should put up on the website, please comment below. Or if they have any links to any websites. If you post any links, I believe, in the comments, that YouTube will remove them, but maybe just like word them out and don't put like the .com or www. Like don't post the link or anything. Maybe just like put like the description in like the spaces, and like I can figure it out. I can go to it somehow. Um, Eventually, I'm hoping to have a forum set up for WWFNoMercy.com. I'm working on getting that up online. That'll be neat to have, where people can, share game share codes, I guess. I'd like to eventually start posting matches for AEW Fight Forever once it's eventually released this year. I've heard it's been delayed again. To get a teen rating instead of a mature rating because of all the blood, from what I've heard. I don't know. I guess we'll find out at some point. But if there's anything that people want to see here on the channel, like matches, any match requests, any Game Shark code requests that you would like to see me do in a video, I can find them, put them in the Game Shark, and then I'll fire them up in a match or something like that, see how it goes. Because I'd like to start posting some of these codes that I found. Some of them are really useful, and I know a lot of people still play No Mercy, whether it be on their Nintendo 64, like I play, or on some people use emulators, which I'm not condoning or anything, but some people do to play some of those mods. But it's really neat that 20 years later, the WWF No Mercy is still such a popular game, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I purchased WWFNoMercy.com, because WWE used to have a whole bunch of websites for their pay-per-views. So like, WWF, like WrestleMania.com, and WWFUnforgiven.com. And something really funny is, if you were to go in right now on your phone or on your computer, if you were to go in and type in WWFBacklash.com, it'll take you to the AEW website. And it's really kind of funny and really unique that Tony Khan bought that website, and seeing as he purchased that and he didn't purchase WWFNoMercy.com is a huge gain for me and for people who want to experience WWF No Mercy content all these years later, because WWFNoMercy.com was originally used for the pay-per-view, not for the video game. But now it's going to be. So I got a funny story. So with the WWE having to change their name 21 years ago or 20 years ago, from WWF to WWE, I've looked up the history of my website on on the Wayback Machine, and so once WWE dropped WWF, they abandoned this website, and there was a porn website that bought this domain, and I thought that was really funny. And so it was used for the WWF pay-per-views that we used as a porno website. And now, all these years later, it's been abandoned. No one's used it until I purchased it recently, and now it's going to actually be used for the WWF No Mercy video game. I'm not associated with WWE. I'm not associated with AEW. It's just going to be a fan video game community where there's Game Shark codes. I'm hoping to get some creator wrestlers formulas on there. Some of them that hopefully I'll make myself of in-game characters, or maybe I'll look up some really old ones and see what they come up with. Some of them on GameFAQs from back in the day aren't too bad. And there's other ones on websites. So my channel here, No Mercy World, is actually based off of an old website called NoMercyWorld.com, which I was going to try to get the domain for that, but I would have had to pay a bit of money for it, even for the chance of it being a maybe of owning it. It wouldn't even been a definite. That's why I ended up getting WWF.NoMercy.com. It was a much better option. And so here we are here on the channel, or maybe you're listening here on the website. But it's great that I'm kind of excited about doing this. I purchased a Game Shark from a local video game store a couple weeks ago. And so I bought two Game Sharks. One's a version 2.3, one's a version 3.3. They had another Game Shark that was like a version, I don't know, like 1.8 or 1.6 or something like that. I'm not too sure what it was, but I know it wouldn't have worked with No Mercy, so I didn't pick it up. So the one had weren't any No Mercy codes on it. So that'll be one that I can just put whatever I find on the internet on there. And some of the ones from the website, I'll put up on there at some point. So that'll be kind of cool. But the other Game Shark actually has some Game Shark codes on it, which I'm quite excited about. One of them being a really long code that has 3 parts to it, and that's a Hell in a Cell match. Now, the Hell in a Cell match, I've only did the computer versus computer testing with it. I haven't recorded much footage, I don't think, of it. Maybe I'll do that. But it's on top of the cell, so kind of like Mankind versus the Undertaker sort of thing. But it's going to be neat for me to go back to the Attitude Era on the WWE Network and watch some of these things, some of these matches, because I'm going to be looking for outfits and colors to edit with for some of these superstars. Now, in terms of created superstars, I'm kind of debating with. I have some that are like Hulk Hogan and like the Macho Man, and like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, DDP, Bret Hart, some of the guys from that time. But I'm wondering if I should start making some of the cause that are in the game that weren't, like, the parts are there that weren't made in the final game. So people like Gangrel, the Mean Street Posse, and the Headbangers, possibly. Um, and then there's also just people who I might want to create. But I've got a couple of different copies of No Mercy, and I'm always looking for more. Um, because well, I've got a couple of different projects I'm working on with No Mercy, but the one of the main ones is for this channel and for this website. And I've been back with the Game Shark codes. I've been editing. I found some manager codes. So, for example, so like Edge and Christian don't come out together. The Hardys don't come out together. I'm gonna have to edit. I'm gonna have to go in and edit Eddie Guerrero and China so that they don't come out together. I'm kind of just trying to figure out what kind of timeline I'm trying to do, like with the cause and everything. Um, I'm probably going to try to stick with that kind of era, like 2000, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002 era. So kind of basic WWF, slightly WWE stuff. Like there are created wrestlers. Like I even have created wrestlers of John Cena and Batista. So those are, mid 2000s. And then there's even people still creating wrestlers. I've seen there's cause of like Roman Reigns and like Seth Rollins and stuff like that. And that's pretty cool that people are still doing this. So I don't know if I'm just going to do. So maybe the more copies of No Mercy I get, like I don't want to truckload, but if I can maybe get one or two more copies of it in time, I can do maybe different generations of eras of wrestling or WWF and WWE because that would be kind of cool. Kind of because I don't know if anyone's noticed, but like I did the Triple H versus Vince McMahon match a couple weeks ago, and I got Triple H like as like this COO Triple H with the short hair and his beard and he's in the suit. And I noticed someone commented that Vince should have gray hair, not black hair. Yeah. I I wish I could have given Vince gray hair. The only option that they have is like the bright white, and so I just left his hair the black because that was kind of more. If you have to choose one or the other, I'd rather have him look more dark hair than bright white hair. So that's why I chose that. Um, I'm gonna have to do some maintenance on the website this weekend. I'm hoping uh, to get more Game Shark codes up and running and hopefully get some more matches going. But maybe I'll do a live stream on me learning how to play No Mercy on beginner or easy, um, because it's something I got to do. If I want to learn how to do more things with this game, especially if I'm going to start doing more pay per views and things that are going to require me to play it. Um, but it'll be fun. It'll be a learning experience for me, but it'll be fun. Um, so I hope everyone enjoyed the first ever episode of WWF No Mercy World podcast here on YouTube or on WWFNoMercy.com. Uh, Hopefully, I'll do some more of these in the near future. I hope everyone has a great day or a great night whenever you're listening. Great morning. Kia signing off, and I'll talk to you soon. Stay tuned for updates and subscribe.